5.7 are the 2015 budget submissions from various subcommittees. May I have a motion to approve the items 5.4 to 5 through 5.7? Moved by Councillor Johnson, second by Councillor Partridge. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. Any opposed? Carried. Now we're at 5.8. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, moved by Councillor Green, second by Councillor Marula. Any further discussion? Hearings and delegations. Madam Chair, isn't that one we just approved?
Yes.
That's a future meeting. Thank you for the clarification. Presentations. We now have a presentation from Mr. Robert Fife, Chair of the Hamilton Veterans Committee, respecting the Annual Volunteer Committee update. Mr. Fife, come on down. Thank you very much, Mr. Fife. I have Councillor Farr.
Robert, great to see you. Mr. Chair, a phenomenal job at the one-off alternate location for the remembrance ceremonies right out front City Hall. Not long ago, it was spectacular. I think you said it as you wrapped up to that crowd. You were impressed, and I think it's incumbent upon us at this get to have this opportunity so close to those ceremonies to thank. You thank Pam and our culture staff, and they did a tremendous job, and the committee did a tremendous job too. So it should be noted. This is a one-off. Through you, Chair, it's back to the Gore Park location, as you mentioned in closing Veterans Way. I know the committee had a large part in the planning of Veterans Way. I wonder if you could speak to, through the Chair, how you see when we get back to the old location, but all new now, that location and its rebirth and its new renovation playing a role in making your annual ceremony all that more successful.
It was great.
Certainly, they'll be able to do that 365 days a year, and we want them all to show up for Remembrance Day. And if you need to work with the ward councillor to close a few roads or ring a few bells, feel free to call me anytime, Robert. Great job, and thank you very much to the committee and all those that you work with every year to pull off the downtown Remembrance ceremony and working with us through this transition. And I know all the more better for it.
Very well said, Councillor Farr. Robert, I have Councillor Merla.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to take this opportunity to thank the Chair, Mr. Fife, for his dedicated contribution to the Veterans Committee for a number of years now, and all the actual members of the committee, Mr. Vatre, McEwen, Beckham, Morelli, and Pasuda, and our resource member, have been instrumental in a lot of the successful events that have been that we've led here at Council. And as a direct result, without their contribution, we wouldn't be seeing these types of events grow to the magnitude that they have been. And for that, I just want to publicly thank them publicly here today for their involvement, and thank you for your time, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Merla. Again, thank you very much, Robert, for the presentation. At this point, I need a motion to receive, moved by Councillor Farr, second by Councillor Merla. All those in favour? Any opposed? Carried. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now we move on to discussion items. We have, with respect to item 8.1 CES report 14062, the Social Navigator Pilot Program. We do have representatives here if you wish to have any questions. So moved by Councillor Farr, second by Councillor Merla. It's on the table. Moved by who? Councillor Merla, second by Councillor Farr. Councillor Jackson, do you have a question?
No, I do. I wanted to speak to it.
Councillor Merla.
I just want to take the opportunity to thank Mr. Johnson and as well as Mr. Anderson for their contribution to this report. As you know, Mr. Chairman, being on the police services, you recognize the importance of this particular very progressive initiative, the Social Navigator program, which the police services is expanding throughout the city. As you also know, it's a very progressive means of engaging the most vulnerable in our community to not displace them through the old style of enforcement, but more engagement and direction through an assessment and referral process, which leads to a direction towards assistance and treatment as opposed to simply locking an individual up. And all of our EMS workers are playing a role to significantly improve this process to ensure that the assessment and referral process is intact. And as a direct result, we as a community have improved dramatically in dealing with the most vulnerable people in our community. And for that, I want to applaud everyone accordingly. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you. And I'm going to ask Councillor Green to take the chair. Certainly had the presentation at Police Services. I don't think all the data is in to prejudge the outcomes of this particular program. I know, even through sitting on this chair and on this committee, that we have many vulnerable people in our community that do not have access to the very services that the navigation program is trying to facilitate. The problem is if the foundation of your home isn't solid, then these people fall back into the vicious cycle. So I'm hoping through a partnership with the city that we can further identify where that loop is breaking down to ensure the continue that being interfaced with the navigation program. So ultimately, on a go-forward basis, there's many more questions than answers. I have asked those questions at the Police Services, and I look forward to those responses in the next stage of this program. So I'm fully supportive of what's here before us today. Thank you. I'll take the chair back. Councillor Farr.
Very quickly, thanks to our navigator, Pat, all those staff who, from Hamilton Police Services to Emergency Community Services, our Department of Health, and many others, but especially the growing number of community services outside of the City of Hamilton, bureaucracy that are continuing to help us, help those, particularly here in the downtown, the homelessness issue, the addictions issue, and in this very innovative way that other communities, if not already have adopted, will continue to look at and likely copy, because this is something that we should be very, very proud of. It's after 3 years, you see pages 5 through 8, incredible statistics that in prolonging this pilot, I believe will only get better, and in a large part thanks to our community partners working with our dedicated staff behind this great innovative program. Thank you.
Thank you. All in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Thank you very much. We now are at motions. Councillor Partridge, do you wish to present your motion respecting the Pat DeFore Memorial Hockey Tournament ice rental fees?
I do, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much. And I will read it out. It's moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Tom Jackson. Whereas the Pat DeFore Memorial Hockey Tournament was founded in 2009 by the DeFore family in Flamborough and now consists of over 40 volunteers from the Flamborough community and has over 30 sponsors each year. And whereas the hockey tournament was founded for the specific purpose of raising funds to assist identified children to offset the costs of playing hockey and to benefit the other charities. And whereas the hockey tournament has raised over $50,000 for local charities since the inception, and whereas the organizers of the hockey tournament are committed to growing the hockey tournament to the greater benefit of the Flamborough community in future years, therefore be it resolved that the affiliated ice rental rate of $132.99 per hour be charged for ice rentals associated with the Pat DeFore Memorial Hockey Tournament in 2015 and for as long as the tournament continues to be held in municipally operated arenas in Flamborough. And if I can just speak to it for a moment, Mr. Chair, we're not asking for the fees to be completely dropped, but we are asking for the affiliated rate. This particular memorial tournament is just so important to the Flamborough community. Not only does the money go to help children who are unable to afford the cost of playing hockey, those families are from Flamborough, but they also support the Flamborough Women's Resource Centre and women and their families who are again dealing with family crisis, as well as the local food banks. So I ask you to consider supporting this motion. We have done this for two other, I believe, tournaments, one in the Hamilton Mountain area. And so this isn't setting a precedence. It is something that we have done before. And those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions? I have one, so I'm going to ask Councillor Green to take the I just need to understand, and I'm supportive of it, but it's always nice to know what the total financial impact relative to the benefit is. So it's my understanding that's, is it 225 normally, and we're dropping it down to 139. So what is the total cost of the ice rental for this tournament?
Through the chair, the tournament at present would cost $10,685. At the affiliated rate, you're looking at $6,400. So a loss of revenue of maybe $4,200.
Okay, I just need that clarification. Thank you. So I'm still fully supportive of it. I would take the chair back. Any further questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. Any opposed? Carried. Now we're notice of motions. We have general information still with the system with Jack Brown on the SAMS system. So right now, is there any notice of motions? Seeing none, we go over to Jack to provide us with an update on the Ontario Works SAMS payment system.
Through the chair, in discussion with Joanne, she felt it appropriate that we update this committee first before it goes to council. As you know, the Ontario Works implemented a new system in November the 11th, and there have been ongoing issues with this implementation. So in Hamilton, we have formed an incident management committee headed by Jillian and the two OW directors to manage the ongoing issues. So contingency plans are in place for our next monthly pay run. Our staff have been dedicated to the application process. Our specialty unit staff, that being employment, family support, eligibility review, been pulled off of their normal work to handle all the phone calls and messages. We have a Christmas closure plan in place. And just the other week, we did site visits to meet with our staff. They are very demoralized. So Chris Murray, Helen Hill, Tomasic, Joanne, myself, and the directors were out to see the staff. Chris was completely blown away with the impact it had on our staff. They're working very long hours to validate the payments. Currently, we're completing manual applications. And we have regular conference calls that Bill and Carrie are on with the ministry concerning the fixes. A lot of the fixes have actually indicated that they're causing additional issues too. It's going to take us some time to determine the financial impact, and there'll be months of additional work ahead of us. Bill and Carrie and our comms folk are putting together a comprehensive update to provide to all of council, and you should have that in the very near future, prior to Christmas.
Thank you, Jack. Councillor Partridge.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. And through you, Jack, I think we're all hearing in our offices from staff and certainly from residents who are being affected by this. This isn't just a small glitch. So my question to you is, do we have any recourse through the province who has mandated this system? And as I understand it, it's an off-the-shelf system. Do we have any recourse to be able to flip back to the old system at all?
We have asked to switch back, and they've said no. There's no recourse to going back.
Wow. Because I certainly, I'll just speak for my residents who work within the system. Demoralized, I think, is putting it mildly when you refer to staff. They are devastated by this. And just, they just don't know what to do about it. So I'm very pleased that Chris Murray and yourself and other senior staff members have been going around and meeting with them. But, what solution, we have to somehow come up with a way to resolve this. If you could just touch on, through you, Chair, any meetings that you're having with ministry staff, any opportunities to be able to resolve this short-term and long-term.
Through the chair, I think we'll address that in the information report that's coming to council, all the strategies that we're employing anyway. I know that human resources is actively involved with the staff, and you're right, they're more than demoralized. We've got staff breaking down at their desk, having to go home. It's terrible. We've never seen anything like this.
Thank you. Councillor Hill.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. And I just want to make a comment to Jack that it's very unfortunate this has had to happen from the province, knowing that they knew it was not ready. They were warned it was not ready by the workers, but unfortunately they unilaterally went ahead and did it anyways. And it's caused such grief on some of the families that depend on this money, and then has the nerve to go up in the legislature and call it a glitch. It was so insulting. That was the best thing that I could say. It was insulting. I could say other words to it. But I just want to let you know, Jack, that I know this committee, we thank what you have done, your work have done, and trying to make this into a sane, overloaded, so frustrated, demoralized. They just can't believe that they're being asked to do something which they want to help, but at the same time, they're being punished by the people that are responsible for this. It was a glitch, and it continues to go on, and won't go back to the old system even on a temporary move. So can you please pass on our remarks? We thank you, and thank your frontline staff. Wish them a very Merry Christmas, but if they can just, it's hard to hang on, and I don't know what else you can do, but give them a big party, do something. But I know they're well deserved what they're trying to accomplish.
Thank you, Councillor Green.
Mr. Chair, through you to Mr. Brown, I think it's worth noting that in my very short time here as a councillor over the last 2 weeks, 80% of my caseload have come from people who are having to make the decision on whether they're going to pay rent or buy food. And I think it's very important to go on the record to note the human impact that this is having on top of the impact that it's having on staff, but really the real life implications that it's having on the residents of Ward 3 and certainly through across the city. And I just wanted to make that known on the public record and thank the staff for the tireless work that they're doing. Certainly it couldn't have come at a worse time with Christmas. And I know that our food banks and everything else are being stressed by this particular issue. So, if there's any message going back to the workers through you, Mr. Chair, to Mr. Brown, please tell them that the work they're doing has a ton of meaning and impact. And certainly, for me in my very short time here has been a gut check in terms of the work that we do here through the city. So I just wanted that to go on the record. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. I'm going to ask Councillor Green to take the chair. It is my plan as a chair, and certainly love to have our vice chair join. I did this when I was the chair the last time. Maybe that's a good place to start, is that area that you've identified to again have the chair and the vice chair on behalf of the committee come down and show our appreciation for their due diligence, hard work, and certainly under these extraordinary circumstances, the challenge they faced, and let them know that we do care about their well-being as well, and show the support and reflect that support of this committee. So I certainly plan to do that, and would ask staff to start setting that up through my both Matt Greens and my assistant. I think that's probably a good place for me to start. Well said. And the only other comment I had to make was the actual cost. If there's any cost implications to the city that whether it's staffing or otherwise as a result of these so-called glitches, we also need to understand and quantify those costs so that it is something that we as a committee and council can go after to the province. And this is cost we incur as a result of your problematic software. So I wouldn't mind seeing that quantified as well at some point in time. Jack, go ahead.
Through the chair, we have started tracking all of the costs, because not only the additional overtime costs, whatnot, there's a lot of revenue that we're not bringing in because the specialty units can't do their work. So our family support recoveries, our fraud recoveries, they're all down. Employment outcomes not being realized with people going off into employment. So we're losing there too.
Appreciate it. So I wouldn't mind seeing that quantified so that we can address those costs. I'll take the chair back. Councillor Partridge.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. And I forgot to ask, and I think you may have said, but when is the report coming to council?
It should be to you within the week. It's definitely before Christmas.
So imminently. All right.
Yes.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you. See no further questions. I entertain a motion, no private confidential, entertain a motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Marilla, second by Councillor Green. All those in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Thank you. Jeff, there we go. Well, thanks.
That was the other thing.